love to know if you just have like any advice for any healthcare workers listening that, maybe they've thought about starting a business or side hustle, but, maybe they're scared to get started, or maybe they don't know if they can do it.
Hmm.
Like, I feel like you are such a success story of just, you created something that was useful for you, then you found out that other nurses on your unit found it useful, and then you really built it into a business. And I
Hmm.
think it's such a powerful, just way for us to diversify our income streams, to have a passion outside of the bedside. And that's kind of what Adni is really striving for with like our marketplace and trying to just unify businesses founded by healthcare workers so that we're easier to find and can kind of just be able to support one another. So would love if you have any kind of words of wisdom to share for anyone who's thought of
Yes,
it.
I would say I have like three pieces of advice. So the first one would be to one, if it's helpful for you, it is helpful for another nurse. Like it will be
Yeah.
helpful for someone else. I think that first idea like took me way too long to wrap my head around. I don't know why I ever thought that, oh, this is only ever going to be helpful to just me. No, like if it's helpful for you as a nurse, it is absolutely going to be helpful for any other nurse in the field. Even if it's specialty specific or like a very niche thing, it will absolutely apply. So I don't want people to ever get like hung up or worried, that, oh, this is only ever going to be helpful for just me. No, it will be helpful for other nurses. And I would say my second piece of advice is that, kind of like piggybacking off of what you said, nurses know their profession better than anybody else. So it can be a little bit nerve wracking at first when you have this business idea or you have this like nursepreneur idea where you're telling other people about it who aren't nurses. I think it can be really hard for them to resonate or even like understand your idea. When I first started sharing, with outside non-healthcare people about my
Yeah.
ideas of like, I want to sell my nursing notes, they looked at me like I was insane. They were like, "Oh, that's cute. Like, good for
Yes.
you." But it wasn't until I, showed my fellow coworkers or other ICU nurses that they truly saw the value in it. So I would say, you know, obviously believe in yourself and believe in the business idea that you have. And maybe don't get bogged down by people who aren't in the field that you're in, because
Yeah.
truly no one knows like the field of nursing like nurses. So that's probably like a little niche tidbit I would say. And then my third piece of advice would be you just have to start. Like you aren't going to have the perfect product the first time that you release it.
Yeah.
You just have to get it off the ground. I know I really struggled with releasing my packet at first because I didn't feel like it was the perfect version or it wasn't the final version that I would release. And I kind of had to remind myself that the iPhone that we use today isn't the same version that, first came out. Like we're always making adjustments and adaptions, and so that shouldn't be something that holds you back. So if you're thinking about doing it, just start, and you'll learn so much through the process of just doing it that you'll eventually make a product that's like even better than you could have imagined. So those are like my three tidbits of information on nursepreneurs out there.
Oh my gosh, such good
Awesome.
advice. Like,
Yay.
honestly, such good reminders for me and everyone. Like, even just remembering like our power that we have as nurses and healthcare workers to build for other healthcare workers. Like, you said it best. We know what healthcare workers need better than anyone because we are healthcare workers ourselves.
Mhm.
Like,
Mhm.
it's so easy, I feel like, to have some imposter syndrome and feel like, oh well, I didn't go to business
Yep.
school, or oh, like I'm not an engineer, like I don't know how to like start an LLC or do taxes, like all these things. And it's so funny because I think for a while, even, in my experience as a nurse entrepreneur, I was always kind of trying to seek validation from like
Mhm.
business people or people who I felt like knew business stuff and like
Yeah.
how to start a business. But the reality is like it really just comes down to knowing your customer, building a great product, and like solving a problem. And again, we're healthcare workers, so we can be able to identify those problems and solutions really well. And then the rest of the stuff you kind of just have to do, and you can
Yeah.
kind of use YouTube to like
Yeah.
help you, and TikTok to kind of get the word out there,
Yeah.
things like that.
I know I always describe the analogy when people are like, Lauren, how's the business going? I'm like, I feel like I'm driving a car like as fast as I can and there's no brakes and I'm just figuring it out as I go, but I'm like, no, I'm moving in the right direction. But like you said, like I didn't know about an LLC or about paperweight or how to order in bulk when I first started. It's just like something you figure out as you go along. So yeah, I love that analogy to get to tell people how it's going running a business.
Oh, it's 100%. Like every day, it's like there's a
Yeah,
code happening, and there's
yeah,
like
yeah. It's
it's just
like
chaos.